All right, lesson 21, some facts about graphs of linear equations and two variables. Basically what we're doing is we are going to be writing equations. We are going to be writing equations in the form y equals mx plus b. And it's going to depend how we do that on the information given to us. Two things. To write an equation, you need two things. You need to find the slope, and we have different ways of doing that. Rise over run, excuse me, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So we need that, and we need the y-intercept. And what you're going to see is sometimes it's easy to find, like in the past, so we see where it hits the y-axis. But today, you're going to see it's not quite so easy to find. So, but I'm going to give you some hints on how to do that. Okay? So basically, sorry. We're going to be given different information, and we're going to have to keep coming back to finding these two things. All right. So let's say we're given a graph, a line here, and on a coordinate plane, and we have to write an equation for this line. Okay? Well, if we have to write an equation for this line, we need two things. We need the slope and the y-intercept. Oh, this is so jumpy today, sorry. We need the slope and the y-intercept. So, since it's on a coordinate plane, I'm just going to use rise over run. So remember, if I have the right tool here, we represent slope with an m, and since this is on a coordinate plane, I'm just going to do rise over run. Pick 2 points that go through grid lines. Don't pick a point right here. You can't count if it's not through the grid lines. So I would maybe pick this point right here, and probably this one right here. Okay. So if I do rise or run, I'm going to, remember we read graphs from left to right. It's going up, so now my slope is positive. So I'm going to rise 2 and run 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Rise 2, run 7. So my slope is 2/7. Okay. I don't know what my y-intercept is. I know it's going to be somewhere between 2 and 3, but is it 2.5, 2.75, 2.67? I don't know. So here is, if you can't tell on the graph, here's how you do it. You take a slope and a point. And so you can pick any points on the line, because remember they're all solutions. I'm going to take this one. This is the 0.54. Okay, here's what we know. That's an x coordinate. That's a y coordinate. So I have an m, an x, and a y. So if you look at slope-intercept form, I know an m, I know an x, I know a y. If you plug everything in, the only thing you don't know is b. We can solve for that. Okay, so this is just a process. Just watch. I'm going to substitute for and for y equals my m, 2/7, times my x, which is 5. And I'm going to write it as 5 over 1, just so it matches up, plus b. Simplify and solve for b. You know how to do this part, okay? So simplify. 4 equals, well, I can't really cross reduce here. 2 and 1 have a common factor of 1. 5 and 7 have a common factor of 1. That's it. So this becomes 10/7 plus b. Since I'm solving for b, I have to get rid of the 10/7. Since it's positive, I'm going to combine it with a negative 10/7. Whatever I do to one side, I do to the other. And I will tell you guys, the hardest part of all of this is that we're going to be dealing some with fractions. You know how to solve equations. You know how to find a slope. You know how to substitute things in. But when the numbers don't work out perfectly, we tend to panic and think we're doing things wrong. Don't. Okay? This cancels out. And so as soon as I figure out what 4 minus 10/7 is, I'll know what b equals. So I'm going to write this as 4 over 1 minus 10 over 7. And with adding and subtracting fractions, we need a common denominator. It's 1 and 7. My common denominator is going to be 7. So I'm going to multiply 1 by 7 and the 4 by 7. Along with kind of panicking because we're not getting perfect numbers, we try to do a lot in our head. It's actually way easier to write it down than to try to do this in our head. 4 times 7 is 28 over 7 minus 10 over 7. That becomes 18 over 7. So b is 18/7. Now, What linear equation? We don't have the linear equation yet. But now notice I have a b and I have an m. And if I have a b and I have an m, I can plug that into slope-intercept form. Oh, but wait, Mrs. Messing, you already used slope-intercept form. I know. We used it to solve for an unknown, okay? Because we know if it's a linear equation, you got to be able to write some form of y equals mx plus b. So this is y equals, take our slope, 2/7, times x plus our b, 18/7. I want to say that's it, guys, but I know it can seem like kind of complicated. So let's do another example. And what you're going to notice is that everything we did here, we're going to do it again. We're looking for a slope and y-intercept. Can't tell what my y-intercept is, so I'm going to use my slope and a point to figure out that y-intercept, okay? All right, here we go. This time, my line is decreasing from left to right, so I'm like, well, I'm thinking this is going to be a negative slope. So my slope is my rise over run. So pick 2 points. This one and have to be this one. So it's rising by going down 1, 2, 3. It's -3. And it's running 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's a -3/5. I can't tell. It looks like 3.5. I don't know if it is 3.5. And then I pick a point. And you can use this one, you can use this one. If there's another one on here, you could use that. I am going to use this one, I think. This is the point 4, 1. X value, y value. So now I know a slope, yay, and a point. I don't know my y-intercept, but I can plug all of this information to y equals mx plus b to find out what that b is. So my y is 1, my m is a -3/5, my x is 4, so I'm going to go times 4 over 1 plus b. Unfortunately, if I try to cross-reduce here, 5 and 4 have a common factor of 1, doesn't help me. -3 and 1, common factor of 1, doesn't help me. So I am just going to multiply straight across and get -12/5. 3 times 4 is 12, 5 times 1 is 5, plus b. And again, I'm solving for b. Same process. I know it's a fraction. I know it looks ugly, but it's the same process. So if I want to get rid of this -12/5, I'm going to combine it with a +12/5. Whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other. I don't know why. Oh, yeah. Okay, never mind. I was like, I don't know why I put lines there. Yeah, I do. They're fractions. All right. And then these cancel out. So as soon as I add whatever 1 plus 12/5 is, I can get what my y-intercept is. 1 over 1 plus 12/5. Common denominator. Common denominator is going to be 5, so times 5 times 5. This ends up being 5 over 5 plus 12/5. Denominator stays the same. 5 plus 12 is 17. So our b is 17/5. I know that's an ugly number, but the only thing you have to do is simplify it. You can't simplify 17/5. You don't have to change it to a mixed number. You don't have to change it to a decimal. Just leave it as 17/5. And once we have our y-intercept and our slope, we can write an equation. Y equals my slope, -3/5, times x plus my y-intercept, 17/5. And again, this equation right here represents all the pairings on this line. All the pairings of x and y values would be solutions to this equation. Notice in both of these, they're not pretty, but you know how to do all the pieces. So just follow the same steps and find your slope and y-intercept, and you'll be able to write an equation.